Today's episode of DRL is brought to you by Hella Cocktail Company. My guests don't just come to DRL for me. They also come for the cocktails. Luckily, my friends at Hella Cocktail Company have my back. These guys make amazing mixes, from Bloody Mary to Margarita to Moscow Mule. They also make cocktail bitters, my secret ingredient, and now yours too. It's easy to feel like the best bartender in town when every bottle comes with a simple recipe on it. Hella Cocktail Company, bold flavor, real ingredients, hospitality. Mixing it up since 2011. Shop the collection on Amazon Prime or use code DRL online at hellacocktail.co for free shipping. Hello, my lovely listeners. Welcome back to another episode of DRL, where we're talking everything dating, relationships, and love. I'm your host, Tanisha Wood. Today, I have Mistress Marley with me, right?
Yes. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Now, I saw Mistress Marley in Paper Magazine, and I found her story really amazing because she is a financial dominatrix or just a regular, like, how does it work?
So I'm a pro dominatrix, but I specialize, or like I say, my favorite thing to do is financial domination.
Okay. So I was super fascinated by this because I'm like, well, one, how does that work? Two, do men really just give you money to boss them around? And three, I mean, I got time now. I'm in the quarantine, so I might want to know all this.
Right.
So like, how did you get started in this work?
I got started basically by like research, curiosity. I feel like the universe kept putting me in situations and at events where I was meeting like other doms, but they were always like older white women that I was meeting. So I was fresh out of grad school, looking for a job, was like broke. So I'm like, I literally went online and typed in how to make money online as a woman. And before, when I was like in college, I was a stripper, so I stripped and like I did a little bit of webcamming. So I always knew about like sex work and what sex work was. But
when you graduated from grad school, were you looking for just a regular job or were you looking for a job in this same industry?
I was just looking for a regular job. So I had graduated with fashion in fashion marketing. So I was looking for like a fashion job or whatever. And so in the in-between, that's when I like did the Googling, and then I came across something called FinDom, or financial domination. And it brought me to Twitter, surprisingly. And when you go on Twitter, if you search the hashtag FinDom, like FINDOM, a whole separate world was on there. And I'm just like, where have I been this whole time? So that's how I found it.
Tell me about how the process of it all works.
So like majority of FinDom versus like regular domination is online. So like you have to do a lot with marketing. You have to do a lot with content. It's a lot of like promoting yourself, being a part of the community, and like being in different engagement groups. So like on Twitter, for instance, I could post a picture with me like doing the loser sign, because the whole thing about financial domination is humiliation. So like I could post a picture doing the loser sign and then maybe put hashtag FinDom or whatever. And then the clients just start coming to your inbox like after that, if they decided they want to like have you as their dom.
Wait, so you just post one picture doing the loser sign on your forehead, hashtag FinDom, and then people just reach out to you based on that?
Yes, they reach out to you based on that, and they reach out to you based on like what other content you might have. So like say if you have a whole page and you're dedicated to posting stuff, videos or whatever, it's kind of like the submissive shop around, if that makes sense.
Wow. So who are your clients mainly?
My clients are mainly white men.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to say like 98%.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so how does it work once they've become a client? Like they reach out after they maybe see a picture of yours or go to your site, and then what do they request and what do you do?
Well, so the thing about FinDom is that it's a kink or fetish where the submissives get off by giving their money to the dom with nothing in return. So they're not requesting anything from you. It's a psychological kink of the fact that they're giving their money to someone they will never meet, someone that they will like never have to do anything with. It's just a whole psychological kink. So what usually happens is they tribute first. So a tribute is a token of appreciation to the dom. So like a tribute can be anywhere from $5 to $500. And they send
What's the biggest tribute you've ever gotten?
The biggest tribute I've ever gotten was $1,000.
Just off the rip. Hey,
just off the rip.
Nice to meet you. Here's $1,000. Let me cash app you.
Yeah. Just off the rip. Yeah. Yeah, so that's usually how it works. And you kind of build a relationship, like a client relationship from there. So like with some of my subs, I'll do like a contract, like this is how much you need to send me every month. This is like how you can spend your own money. So it's stuff like that.
So are you controlling their entire bank account and their entire spending, or are they just giving you money? You know what I mean? Like in financial domination, are you like, you can't go to the store today. You can't buy this. You can't do this. You can't like, are you controlling all that, or how does that part of it work?
It can go both ways. So that like depends on the relationship that like the dom and the submissive discuss. So like you have some that just want to send you money when they can send it. And then you have some that are just like, goddess, I want you to tell me what I can spend today. Or like they'll like message you and be like, hey goddess, I'm out at the bar with my friends. Like, tell me how much I can spend. Stuff like that.
What do you have to do though? Like just tell them what to do, or are you having to like do anything sexual, or does this involve any sort of like sex?
No, because it's mostly online. So sex can't happen because it's not in person. Like I stated, like it's a psychological kink. So it's the part of getting off and giving money to someone with nothing in exchange. So Fendom is a sub giving appreciation to a dom with money for nothing in exchange.
What's in it for them? Like, I mean, they're giving their money.
They're getting off. So like in kinks, like, so in BDSM, majority of BDSM is non-sexual, non-penetration, period. So in the BDSM world, I think there's a common misconception that we're having sex in like the craziest ways, or like we're tying people up and having sex, which is like to me a big stereotype. And basically they get off by the psychological. So most BDSM in the BDSM culture is mostly mental and emotional, like kinks and psychological. It's what makes someone feels good in a psychological way.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so are most of these men like married?
I don't know. I don't disclose that information. Most of them like don't tell you that, or like most of them don't want to get into the personal life, because the whole thing about this industry is all about fantasy. So you want to just keep it where it is. Like you never want to be too personal. Like if a sub was to ever ask me about my personal life, they would get cut off, or they would be told like, you can't do that. And vice versa as a dom, I don't want to know their personal life. Yeah.
Do they like add you on Instagram, or is it strictly like you only communicate with me in this way at this time?
It depends on like what the contract is. So when you guys like discuss and form that relationship, just like when you're forming any type of business relationship, like you go over certain things. So like I would be like, hey, these are the only avenues I want you to talk to me on, whether it's like Twitter, whether it's like Kik, whether it's like texting, of course, from a fake phone number, because I tell all sex workers to make sure you're protecting your identity. But it's all what you guys like come down to.
And how long do you typically have your clients?
In this industry, it just depends on like how the relationship is going. I tell a lot of the women I mentor, like, don't get too hung up or too, stuck to one sub, because a lot of these subs have fetishes that they're just trying to fulfill, maybe for a day, maybe for a week, maybe for a month, year, whatever. But the thing is, it's always like ongoing. Like you'll have one client leave, but you'll have one client come in. So it's just one of those things where you like never really know.
And do you ever have like an emotional connection, especially with, I guess, clients that you have had for a while? Like, do emotional bonds form? I mean, just in general, in anything that we do, in my opinion, I think there's bound to be an emotional connection when you're, interacting with somebody on a frequent basis.
No, I've never had an emotional connection with none of my subs, only because, like I said, we don't get into like the personal aspect of stuff. We're only there for session. Even when I do in-person domination, we're only there for session. We're only there to do what was in our contract, and that's like it. If I end up having an emotional connection with a sub, it's not emotional in the sense of I love them or I really like them. It might be emotional in the sense of me just caring more to ask them like, how was your day today? Or like, is there anything you're going through? Like something like that. But it's never on the level of, oh my God, I'm in love with this sub. Like I can never see myself in love with a sub.
But they probably feel like that with you though. Do they ever feel like I want more from this, or like, I like you more than this relationship and exchange that we have?
They might feel that way, but I've never been told that. And they also know that's a breach of contract also. So that's probably why they would never tell me. But I've never like been told like, hey, I want this to go any further.
Does your family know what you do?
Yes, they do.
How do they feel about it?
At first my parents were like a little skeptical about it because like just like many people, they thought the stereotype was true about like having sex, and then I had to educate them. But I think for the most part, like my mom and my dad, they love the education portion of it. They love that I'm going around like teaching like different things, because it's like I teach FinDom, but then I teach kink education and sex education also. And I also teach safety, so they like that part. But they were like really skeptical about like my safety with it. But other than that, no, they're really supportive.
Do you have a boyfriend or girlfriend or anything like that? Like a romantic relationship?
Not right now. No, I don't. But I have been in a romantic relationship while I've been doing this work before.
And how did that impact the relationship?
It didn't impact it at all. Like seeing that I'm an Aquarius, like even when I'm dating, I look at a lot of stuff. I kind of get a feel of what people are going to think. So I don't hide myself. When I go on the first date, I tell people I'm a dominatrix, because eventually, I mean, they're going to follow me on social media. They're going to see it. Like they're going to see the interviews I've done and stuff like that. So it doesn't bother me, but I usually look at their reaction to it or see if they get real judgmental. And I already know on first date, like I'm not going to talk to this person again. Like I'm not someone that hides myself to have a man or to have a woman, because I am bisexual. But I'm not someone that will hide myself just to say, oh, well, I had to hide who I am, but at least I got a man. Like I'm not that person.
Right. I mean, I agree with you. I think like the best thing you can do is be 100% upfront about who you are right away. And people are either going to like it or they're not. And either way, it's fine. What are people's reactions typically, like their initial reactions when you tell them what you do?
There's either one or two things. It's either like one, they want to know like a lot and it ends up turning into an interview on the date.
You're like, just go listen to that podcast I was on.
Yeah. And then it's either two, like you'll have the guys that are like, well, I'm going to let you know right now, you're not going to dominate me. And I'm just like, okay, first of all, you didn't even pay a deposit. So why would I even try to dominate you? And like, second of all, like, I don't get where they get that connection that me telling them I'm a dominatrix automatically equals to they think I'm going to tie them up. Like, I don't know.
In my mind, and I think just in popular culture, that's the image. Like you think like some whips and chains and ties.
Yeah.
Does it ever seep into your relationships though in a sexual way? Like, do you ever dominate like just sort of naturally, as you know what I mean? Like our work tends to seep into like what we do and how we function personally. So like, do the two ever meet?
No, I'm very, very big on separating my kink life from my regular life. Like I'm also a switch, which means I can be dominant and submissive depending on the person. So to me, it all like depends on the person. Like I'm not going to be dominant to someone that I feel like can't even do what they need to do in the bedroom. You know, like I'm not going to be on the floor instantly. Like, oh, like put a collar on my neck, or, oh, you can do this, or you can say whatever to me. Like, I'm not going to be that person either. I think it really just depends. But for the most part, in my romantic relationships, I've had taken on like a more submissive role, but I'm still very like dominant and letting you know what I want. But I will let you take control if I feel like you're good at taking control.
Like the men that you date, are they, sometimes jealous?
No, I don't think they're jealous, only because they see my clientele and they see the stuff I'm doing to my clientele. Like, I don't think they would be jealous of me kicking a guy in the balls. Like, they wouldn't be jealous of that at all. They probably would feel sorry for the guy. But I don't think it's like jealousy. For the most part, it's curiosity. A lot of them want to know like what I'm doing, or like I've had some people in past relationships that have come to my events and my classes and my workshops and stuff. So like I said, like when I have that first date, I kind of determine if they're going to be that person that's going to be supportive, or if they're going to be that person that's just going to be judgmental.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that it doesn't impact your dating life more, just because I think my assumption would be that, men have a hard time with it.
See, I'm really good with the gift of gab, and I'm like really, really good with like, having men where I need them to be, because even like back when I stripped, I was a sugar baby also. And like when you're a sugar baby, you have to like, it's a lot of having men where you want them to be so they can pay you. It's a lot of like playing on men's egos and stuff like that. So I'm one of those people where like, if a guy's trying to talk to me and I see like, or I think that he might be judgmental about what I'm doing, the way I present it is like so like cool that they're just like, oh, well, there's nothing really like wrong with that or whatever. Or I'm the type of person where I give off to them like, hey, I really don't need you. So whether you're going to judge me or not, I really don't need you. I won't cry if you decide not to be around.
So one of the things that I've always struggled with, I think, is like flirting. So I have a friend who she just has this very natural way of attracting men. And I've always been fascinated by her because of it. Like they're drawn to her because she just has this like ease, and it's not like she directly flirts. And so I've always just admired that in a way, because I think it's a skill. Like, it's a general life skill
Yeah, it is.
to get people to open up to you and feel comfortable around you. What are some tips that you would give?
I would say for sure, like, don't be too thirsty. Like, there's been times like where I've taken like girlfriends out freestyling, and that's what we call it in the sugar baby industry, when you go to like these lounges where wealthy men might be, like, you know, just to like freestyle. And like, I've noticed like they'll be really thirsty. Like, you can tell in their compliments, like, you're never supposed to compliment the guy more than he compliments you, like, ever. Also, like, don't be needy. Don't like look shy or nervous, because as soon as men detect any type of shy or nervousness, that's when they feel like they can move in to manipulate. Just be confident. Like, it's not something that can happen overnight. Like, I know confidence is something that has to grow, but it's something that when you get in a place full of, like, say you're in a place with all these wealthy men, you need to realize you're already the prize. Like, when you walk in, like, as soon as like that first person looks at you, or that second person looks at you, you're already the prize. You don't need to do much more. Like, a lot of people think, oh, well, I have to go talk to everybody, or I have to like do this and that. Like, don't be that way. And another like tip I give people all the time is, don't be on your phone the whole time, because that just,
Oh God,
like,
that's the worst.
like, you're fumbling your opportunity already, because they're going to see, oh, she's in her phone. Like, she doesn't really want to talk to anybody. But I will say, like, just know that men are like really easy. Like, I know that might sound like easier said than done, but men are really, really easy. All you have to do is stroke their ego maybe one time, like maybe one compliment at the most. And that can be as simple as like, oh, your tie is nice. Like, and then they're already thinking, oh, she really likes me. Like, men are that easy. So just have it in your head that it's already yours. Like, whatever you want, the flirting, all that stuff, like, it's already yours. And I'm big on manifestation, so I use that a lot too.
So when you were a sugar baby, did you directly tell these men like, hey, this is what I want, this is where I'm at? Or did you just let them sort of bring that up?
Well, like, when I was going on dates, because I used to use a site called Seeking Arrangement. So that site was set up for specifically sugar babies and sugar daddies and sugar mamas. So when you're on that site, you know what they're up there for. It's not, no, oh, I'm going to go on the first date and I didn't know she was looking for money. It's like, I know when I signed up on the site. So usually on like in messages we exchange before a first date, you know, kind of just talk casually. I tell them what I'm working on, like what I like to do, like how I like to be spoiled. And then on the first date, I just go right in and tell them like what I need, like what I'm looking for in a relationship. Because my thing is, you have to be transparent on that first date. Like, why waste your time? Because what's going to happen is you're not going to say what you want on the first date, then you get nothing. By the second date, you're going to keep doing the same thing till you realize, I just went on 5 dates with this person and I'm not even getting what I thought I was going to get out of this exchange.
In those sorts of relationships, is there is it like a contract sort of thing too, or just a verbal agreement where you're saying, I need this much for my rent, I need this much for my bills?
Yeah, so with like sugar daddies and stuff, I've never signed contracts, only because like, to me, that's more of like a normal dating relationship. It's only that the guy might be older than you. And also it's a common misconception that all sugar daddies like in their 60s. Like, my youngest sugar daddy was 31 years old and he was like, he had a lot of money and he was Black. So, and he was attractive. So a lot of people
sounds like boyfriend material.
Yeah, like, and he was attractive. So to me, it just felt like it's just like I was dating a regular guy, just like when I date on Tinder or whatever, but he just had more money and he was just more mature. But like, it's not really a contract that you sign with them. It's just something more so that's a verbal agreement.
Why do you think that most of your clients are older white men?
Because like, white men are into really weird stuff. Like, and the thing is, like, most white men are like in power all the time, whether it's at their jobs, in their personal relationships or whatever. Like, a lot of my clients are Wall Street men. And you got to think about it. They're so used to being in charge 24/7, like all day. Like, even if they just want to lose control for an hour, they'll come and like book with me, you know? So I think it's kind of like it's like a power exchange thing that they're into.
Wow.
Yeah.
And with them, does race ever come into it as far as the exchanges of power? Like, are they ever saying things like, you know, I don't even know what they would say, but are there like sexual / racial undertones in it, if that makes sense?
Okay, so like being a sub versus if they were going to see like an escort or something like that. If they're going to see an escort, they would feel like they were more in control, versus when they're a sub, they know that everything they have to do is worshiping me because they reached out to me. That's another thing. Doms never reach out to subs. You will never see a dom that's, oh, I'm looking for clients going in random inboxes. You'll never see that. You always see that subs will always come to them, and they know when they're coming to you, they're coming to worship you. They hold you at the utmost level of respect. They know their purpose is to serve and worship you. So the only type of racial stuff I do is on my end where I do reparations play. So they become my slave.
I'm sorry. That was really funny. Reparations play. Okay, what is reparations play?
So it kind of is like what it says, like they owe me reparations. They owe me money for everything that their community has done to Black people, for everything that their community has done to Black women. They owe me money for that. So that's me getting my reparations back from them. So that's like the only race play that I will do.
You know what? I think I might want to be a reparations dom. I feel like I'm owed a lot. And all my people.
It's the best thing ever.
So like, how do you feel while you're doing it? Like, do you feel like the boss? Like, how does it all make you feel as it's happening?
I definitely feel like the boss. I tell all like doms, if you don't feel like the boss while you're in your session, you're doing it wrong, because I mean, automatically you're already in charge. As soon as they come in, they're already on the floor on their knees with a collar on or whatever you do to them. So if you can look at somebody with a collar on and don't feel like you're the boss and you're holding their leash, I don't know what's going on. But I always like, I'm the boss. I feel like the world is mine. Like, I feel like they're where they need to be, which is on the floor, always beneath me, always looking up at me. I just feel so powerful. Yeah.
Can you walk me through a typical session? So like, what happens? They come in, what type of room are you in? And then what do you do during the session?
It depends. So there's like dungeons you can rent. There's also like some sessions will be held in hotels. I always have security no matter like where I go with my sessions. And I preach to like all my girls to have like security when they go in their sessions. So like they'll walk in. It kind of depends on the relationship I built with them. If they're a first timer, then it's more so me. Like, I'm pretty normal when they walk in. Like, hey, how are you doing? Like, is there anything I need to know about? And that's called before care. So that's taking care of them before the session happens. Because in any type of session in BDSM, you want to make sure like that the person is okay. You want to ask like, did you have an injury lately? Is there any type of pain going on with your body? Because you never, when you're having a session, you never want to hit somewhere where they're already like in pain. And then like, it's just normal from there. I might let them get themselves together for maybe like 5 minutes, meaning like take off shoes, coat, like hat, like whatever they might have on. And then usually I tell them to get on the floor and like crawl like into the space where we're going to have the session. If it's in the hotel, I don't do that because I don't want to subject all these strangers to it. But if it's in a dungeon, which is known for BDSM stuff, I'll make them crawl. Like their session money that they'll have, whether, I mean, most of the time they'll send electronically, but like I like cash also. So they'll come in with cash, like in their mouth, crawling to me and stuff like that. And then like usually the session happens, and whatever happens in session is always discussed beforehand, and like always like mutually, like we're both going to do it. So I tell like doms, don't ever do anything you don't want to do. And the same thing with subs. Don't ever say anything that you want to do, because yeah, I might like whipping somebody, but what if my client isn't like being whipped? I can't make him do it just because I'm a dom and I think, oh, I'm in control. Like, this is still a human being that has needs and doesn't want that done to them. So usually whatever we discuss beforehand, put in a contract, whatever, we end up doing during session. I don't do sessions longer than 2 hours. And yeah, it just usually goes on from there. And it's like a lot of fun. And it's just like a lot of getting to know that person, especially if they're a first timer. If there's somebody I've had before, maybe we might try something new or something like that.
What are they doing during the session? Are they talking to you as you're doing it and saying, hey, do more of this, do less of this? Or it's just, they don't talk at all?
It depends. Like the only time they'll talk is if something is uncomfortable. So they never sit there and tell me, hey, do more of that. It's not their place to tell me what to do more of, but it is their place to tell me what to do less of, only because it could be painful or whatever. So we have like a lot of safe words in like BDSM. So there's like red, like the most common one is the stoplight, which is red, yellow, green. Red means absolutely stop, like right away. Yellow means just slow down and like ask them if they're okay. And green means like it's okay, like keep going. If they're gagged or whatever and can't talk, we usually do hand movements, or like if they like something, it's yes. If they don't like something, it's no. But usually talking is at my discretion. Like I might tell them, okay, you can talk now, or don't speak until told, or something like that.
What's the craziest thing you've ever been asked to do?
Toilet play. And I don't do toilet play. So yeah.
Like, okay, is that like 2 girls, 1 cup?
Yeah, it's like they either want to get like peed on or like pooped on and stuff. Which, I mean, getting pooped on is like, people don't understand, it's very common. When you see these Instagram models randomly in Dubai, like, you know how everyone's always in Dubai and posting pictures, most likely they are getting pooped on for money. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of this stuff people think is even common, but you know, apparently it is. And everybody has their kinks, and
Yeah.
some of those are crazier than others.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Not crazy bad, just crazy because it's new to the rest of us.
Right.
So what do you think your favorite thing about doing this is?
I think my favorite thing is the community, like meeting different people within a community, definitely meeting like more Black women, because like there's not as many of us. So when you meet another Black dom, it's like, oh my gosh, yes, sis. Like we can talk about what we go through together. We can talk about how we got to this point. We can talk about how our own people in our personal lives might have judged us for doing this, you know, because in the Black community, this isn't something that's like commonly talked about. So I think it's definitely the community, definitely the money. Definitely like being able to build a community. Like I've built like Black dom sorority and stuff. So just like the connections I've made.
Do you think that white people are generally more open to this?
White people definitely are more like open to this, only because I feel like they have an open culture with certain things. I think white people literally live life like their last day on earth. So they're going to do whatever they got to do. And I think they live with no fear because they've never really had to fear anything in life. You know, everything has literally been handed to them since like they were born. So it's definitely something more common in the white community.
So we're going to do a listener question.
Okay.
I saved this one just for you.
I'm excited to know what this one is.
Okay. This is from Leah. She says, I've always been very open-minded when it comes to sex, and my biggest deal breaker in any relationship is cheating and lying. So I've always stressed honesty, and my boyfriend knows that. We were at our favorite bar a few months ago, and the bartender was clearly flirting with him. It didn't bother me because he was responding appropriately. A few weeks later, he told me he went back to the bar, and the same bartender asked if he wanted to get together after she got off. He told her that he has a girlfriend, and she said that it's okay because she likes girls too. They exchanged Instagrams, which made me mad, but I appreciated his honesty. Anyway, the bartender DM'd him, and she wants to have a threesome. Like I said, I'm open-minded, but I've never done this, and I don't want to complicate what we have, which is really good. Do you think I should move forward or squash this whole idea?
Hi, Leah. First of all, no, I don't think you should move forward only because you're having doubts. I mean, you had to have doubts to ask this question. And I mean, even look at the statement you made about, you know, you don't want to mess up what you guys have because it's really, really good. It honestly sounds like you're just doing it because he wants to do it and he keeps talking about it. Like, it seems like something he keeps bringing up as like, oh, well, she's into girls too, so you should want to do it. I mean, even him getting the Instagram to me was like a little disrespectful to do. He should have never got the Instagram. I definitely wouldn't do it. I feel like a lot of women feel like they have to have threesomes to keep a man or to keep their relationship going. And then what's going to happen? You're going to be in the threesome, not even enjoying yourself. So then it's going to be awkward. You're going to be doing something that you feel like you're forced to do. And then that's going to make you change how you look at him. I promise you. Like, it's going to change how you look at your boyfriend, especially if things don't go the way you want it to go. Or especially if you feel like he might end up giving her more attention during the threesome than he's giving you. So I would definitely say don't do it. Don't go forward with it.
And it also sounds like a rocky start with the whole DM thing. Or it's
Yeah.
like, if he's already doing little things that you don't like or that are against the agreements of whatever your relationship is, like
right,
bringing a whole nother person in, he's bound to do something a little like, I didn't like that. And how are you going to react?
Right. And then I think about it like this. Men don't never want it flipped on them. What if she wanted to bring a guy in for a threesome? You know he would say no for the most part.
Right.
So it's just like, I just wouldn't do it. Don't do it, Leah.
What advice would you give when it comes to sex and keeping it exciting?
Definitely being transparent. Like, if you feel like you have a sex life that's really, really boring, just say that. Like, don't say like, oh, well, we're just gonna have sex again. I'm gonna do what, you know, he wants to do or what, you know, she wants to do because we've been doing this for a long time, whatever. Like, spice it up a little bit. Go to workshops together. Like, say there might be a kinky workshop on like how to tie somebody up properly. There might be a workshop on how to handcuff somebody properly. And most of the time at these workshops, you can go real incognito. I've seen couples come in masks, like they don't want no one else to know they're there. Like, there's no pressure to ever do anything. There's no pressure to ever touch anybody. One thing I will say about the BDSM community, when we're like in session, we're really like crazy and wild. But when we're out of session, we're very, very respectful of people. We're normal people, just like everybody else. But I will say definitely like just talk about it. The best thing you can do is just talk to someone. And I feel like if you're in a relationship where you feel like you can't even talk to someone, it's like, why are you in the relationship?
Exactly. Do you ever have couples as clients?
Yes, I've had couples before.
And what is that like versus when it's just a single dude?
Um, so it's two things that happen. Like I either get a couple that wants to be dominated by me together, or I'll get a couple where like the woman wants to learn how to dominate the man. So it usually turns into like an education hands-on course. So like I have my professional educational clients, and then I have the ones that just want to be dominated together.
Do you think that that brings couples closer together, doing something like that together?
Definitely, because not only do they have new things to try on each other in the bedroom, but they can literally say, oh my gosh, like we went to a workshop together. That was like our first one and we went and did it. So like it definitely brings them closer together.
Wow. I think this is really awesome. You know, I mean, it's easy to judge because you don't know exactly what it is. And you do think it's just like whips and chains and sex and it's crazy. But, you know, to be honest, after talking to you, I'm like, it seems just kind of like your normal job.
Yeah. Except you're in charge. So it's like, you know.
Yeah. Your normal job with a little bit more money or maybe a lot more money.
Yeah.
Is this extremely lucrative work?
It is
like, do you think like if you would have went and got a normal job, like the one you were looking for after you finished grad school, do you think that you would be in a worse off place financially?
So I did get that normal job. I used to be a fashion buyer at Gap in corporate. So I was there for a while and I just, I quit that job in January to do this full time. Wow. So I lived the corporate 9-to-5 life. I've worked the retail, the bartending jobs. I've worked every job you can think of. And this is just what ended up landing me where I am. And for me, it just makes me way more money.
Was it a real transition for you having to go from, I work at, corporate 9-to-5 to doing this? Like, was it a mental transition or was it just sort of easy?
No, because I was kind of doing some of this work on the job. Like I was like interviewing clients at lunch. I was updating my website while I was at work. I was setting up sessions with clients. So it was just something more so where it was like, I'm ready to be done with this job so I can do it without feeling like anyone is looking over my shoulder.
Did you ever get scared that like people you work with might see you on a site or anything like that?
No, only because, like I said, I took the steps to make sure my identity was protected. So just like when I signed up for all my social media sites, I used my Dom email address. Just like when I signed up for Instagram, when it asks you if you want to sync your contacts, no. So no contacts can ever find me. If people at work ask for my Instagram, I would say I don't have one. Like even on my Instagram, like the name is the Chocolate Dom and it comes up Mistress Marley. Even when I do a Google search on my real name, a white woman comes up actually. So like I don't even come up. So like pictures of white women come up and my LinkedIn will come up. So that's like the only two things that will come up. But other than that, I've done like a pretty good job of trying to like wipe myself off. So the only way a coworker would know to find me is they would have to know my Dom name.
So any last words of advice you would give?
Like I said, have a mentor, take classes, do your research. I teach courses through something I have now called Mistress Marley Sex Academy. So it's on Patreon. It's $5 a month, but you choose your tier. You can choose to learn about sex work. You can choose to learn about BDSM, and that's whether you're a Dom, sub, switch. You can learn about how to be a sugar baby, and you can learn about just regular like sex talk of like how to work through sexual trauma and like mental trauma and stuff like that. So that's patreon.com/sex academy. And I'm always teaching. I'm always doing stuff all the time.
What's the society that you?
Black Dom Sorority.
Black Dom Sorority. So what is that?
It's a safe space where people come together and we learn about like how to dominate, safety. You might have some girls that go to sessions and they don't have security. So they might take another girl that lives in the area with them. Like I throw events, I throw parties, I go to like different states and throw classes. We're at 300 members now. And we have inductions. Yeah, and we have inductions like once a month. We're actually having inductions right now. They started today. So I'm working with those women that are wanting to come in. It's like a vetting process that I do for 3 days because I want the community to be a community. But it's like a sisterhood. Like think of any other sorority, how they have parties, how they hang out together, how they talk about like everything from sex, relationships to BDSM to, I want to vent today because so-and-so got on my nerves, like stuff like that. So it's a very close-knit community and we're in all 50 states. And then I even have girls in like Africa, Dubai, stuff like that. Yeah.
Do you have women reach out that have just never done this, like any sort of sex work?
Yeah. So I want to say 75% of the organization were newbies when they came in. They didn't even know terms or stuff like that. But the whole point is to build you up from the beginning to where you can get to the point where you're a veteran or where like you can get to the point where you can pass on information or maybe one day you can start teaching classes.
And do people get into it mostly for the money? Like the new people that join, are they there mostly because it's like another source of income?
I'll say like usually in the induction process, one of the discussion questions I ask is like, are you leaning more towards femdom or femdom? Do you want to do this for lifestyle, for money? And a lot of the, like, some of the replies would be like, yes, I like want to do it for money, for financial freedom, to make a side income. But then you have a lot of the women that are just like, I wanted to learn something new. This is always something I want to do. I just always felt alone in doing it. So it can go like either way.
This was really educational and informative, actually. And then where can people reach out to you on social media?
So you can find me on Instagram. I am private only because this is my 4th Instagram page, because Instagram used to delete me a lot. My Instagram is the chocolate dom, DOMME _. My Twitter is eyes, like your eyes, EYESX on fire. And then I have a YouTube called youtube.com/the chocolate dom. So that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Thank you so much again. This was like I said, super helpful, informative. And I hope that when people listen to this, they can come from a place of non-judgment, because it's the easiest place.
Squash your stereotypes, people.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And thank you guys so much for listening today. And you can reach out to me at Tanisha Wood on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and let me know what you think of today's show. And until next time, wish me love. Hello again, my lovely listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of DRL. If you like the show, be sure to go on iTunes and leave a rating and also write a review. And don't forget to share with your friends and tell them all about DRL. Thank you so much for supporting.